Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Everyday Excellence. I'm your host, Todd Baldwin, and today we have Tasha Roberts, owner of ASAP Commercial Doors. Tasha, how are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. We were just chatting how we survived the winter Arctic blast last week, so we were all happy. They have more weather.
Snowpocalypse.
Do I? Yeah. Tasha's in the North Carolina area. They have more bad weather headed her way, she said. So hopefully it's not too bad. So, Tasha, tell me a little bit about ASAP Commercial Doors. I'm sure you could do a much better job introducing your company than I ever could.
Sure. So, ASAP Commercial Doors, I'm the owner and CEO. We started in Phoenix in 99. I didn't work at the company at that time, but originated about 26 years ago in the Phoenix market. We do all commercial doors, roll up doors, storefront, interior, hardware, automations, those automatic doors. So we do all things commercial. We work closely with property managers, some general contractors, facility management to keep their doors safe and compliant. And then we moved to North Carolina 3 years ago to open the location here. So we are in the Charlotte market, but we serve all of North Carolina and South Carolina as well.
And then the Phoenix market as well. Where in Phoenix?
Our
Oh,
office is in North Phoenix, but we service the whole metro area.
okay. Well, awesome. 26 years is a long, long time. So tell us a little bit uh, about the beginning, right? How the business got started. And then you mentioned you weren't involved in the business back then. So when did you get involved as well? I'd love to hear
Yeah,
that story.
sure. So the business was founded by my parents, Mark and Rochelle, in '99 in Phoenix. My father had worked for now one of our competitors, but a door company, and wanted to do his own thing, so he went out on his own. My mother was a office manager at a asphalt company, so she kind of understood the trades a little bit, and they just started it from there. I took over in 2016 when my parents were in a motorcycle accident, not able to work anymore. So I quit my job. I was working in finance. I come from kind of the opposite side of the world, corporate America. So I quit that and stepped into the business from there. And then in 2021, I became the official owner. So started making a lot of changes after that. We rebranded and then opened our next location. So it's been a bit of
Okay.
a roller coaster.
So 2021, you took over the business. So it is now a woman owned business. Talk a little bit about that. What do you, are some of the advantages or perks of being a woman owned business?
I'll say there are perks when it comes to getting awarded contracts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Nowadays, a lot of companies do have these type of, diversity, accreditation. So it's not as uncommon as it used to be. But when it comes to like working on, Air Force bases and those type of government contracts, they really do want to see, women-owned businesses and stuff like that because it helps us get the contracts. So when it comes to that, that's always been a benefit to us. Um, and then I don't know, I just feel like women in construction is kind of a little less common, so just helps us stand out if anything.
Yeah, no, I think that's awesome, and you're right. I mean, these contracts and stuff, there can be an advantage, right, to having a woman-owned business. So, plus, I just think that's awesome being in the construction side too. So, um, let's talk about a little bit about your culture, right, in the business. How do you, what would you say, or how would you say your culture's evolved since you've taken over that business? Because you mentioned a lot of changes, and so no, so 2021, we're 5 years in, or going on what 4 plus years. How's your culture evolved over that time?
We've had a lot of changes. I would say since we maybe have one employee that we had in 2021. He's
Okay,
been with us for like 20 years and he's our only one. So we've had, 100% turnover, which is fine. We had the wrong team in place anyway. But we really did have to start from the ground up, putting core values in place, vision, mission, and really finding the people that aligned with that. And once we got that honed in, they attract each other. So now we have an amazing team because half of them are referrals and, strong individuals attract other strong individuals. So, yeah, we really had to pretty much start from fresh to build the culture that we wanted.
Hey, I can relate. Culture is so important. You gotta have the right people, right? And you gotta have them in the right
Yes.
seat too. So I'm
Yes.
curious, what do you do to ensure your team stays motivated and aligned with those core values that you worked hard to put in place?
Yeah. I think it's just always talking about them, coaching through them, leading through them. When we hire people, that's a big part of our hiring process and making sure that they are not only, a technical fit, but also like a values fit. So we go through that in the interview process pretty extensively. And then, we do fun things to kind of always incorporate the values. Like we'll do monthly, giveaways of gifts for people that portrayed a certain value that month. Just different things to make it fun. And our coaching, if somebody is being written up, for example, something not so fun, we always tie it back to like usually that was a core value break somewhere. So we always like tie it back to that. So my team lives by them and that's how we've built the strong culture on the values.
That's awesome. I love how you tie it back to when you do have to maybe have a write up or something, which is not fun. I agree with you there, but tie it back to your core value. I think that's awesome. I'm curious. So you've got this team that is bought in on your core values. So let me kind of flip the table there of the script, and I wonder if there's a story or lesson that you've learned from your team that has helped shape you the way you lead today.
Mm, I'd have to think about that. I
Just
mean,
something magnet. Yeah, go ahead.
I just think that, when I overall, like, when I moved across the country away from my entire team, I had to learn a lot, right? Like, I had to learn to trust them, to give my power away. Because up to that point, I was doing everything, I was doing too much, but having to move away from them, like, they taught me how to trust them or not to trust them in some cases. We had to get rid of some people, but, they taught me that I can trust them, and that was a big thing for me to mentally get over when I moved.
Yeah, you talk about all as operators, right? So owners and entrepreneurs and operators and just being able to take off some of those hats, right? And let your team that you've got in the right seat, let them, do their I guess run that department or so forth. It's hard because it's I've fought that for 20 some odd years,
It's hard,
just
it's your baby, you don't wanna let go of control.
exactly. But I have found, in the last several years, as we work in this what's called EOS entrepreneurial operating
Mhm.
system, that we've got everybody in the right seat. Everybody stays in their lane, and it's helped me just uh, you know trust the team and let them do their thing, right? Because you're right, it is your baby, and it's hard to let go of that sometimes. um, I'm curious about your growth. I mean, 26 years, or going back to 1999 is awesome. You've had the business. You got involved 10 years ago. I've been running it since 21. How's your approach to growth shifted over the years? Is it more about your team or expanding your services?
I mean, you can't have one without the others. I tried to grow really quickly, but I had the wrong team in place at first, and so it kind of just fell apart. Operations were slipping, things weren't going right. And it really was like, hey, you're trying to get to this destination with a team who's not bought in with your vision. So that was really when a lot of the turnover started happening. But once we got the right team in place, our growth has just gone crazy. We grew 40% last year.
It's awesome.
Like we're trying to just maybe stabilize a little bit so we can catch up, but it's a good problem. So I would say like you have to have the people or the growth will not happen uh, in a healthy way.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, your team's your best asset, right? I mean, they're the ones out, especially handling jobs, dealing with clients, and so forth. So you mentioned moving from Phoenix to North Carolina. So what has helped keep you, or what's helped you, right, keep the balance between expanding operations and maintaining that high level of service that you're known for?
Again, like just having the right people in place. I have a great general manager in Arizona, and we've really, like, worked on his leadership skills, and he's like my right-hand person, so he's bought in, and I trust that he's gonna uphold the standard when I'm gone because I cannot physically run, multiple locations when I'm not there. It's very difficult. It can be done, but it's hard in our industry because everybody is in person. They're there every day. Like, there are big projects happening, so it's really just gone back to having the right people, so we don't sacrifice quality or anything like that, so and also systems, like, I've worked really hard to get a lot of systems in place, which is not fun, like, I don't wanna be in that position, but I know it's necessary for us to get to the next level, so just getting everything operating on systems to scale, the right way.
Yeah, putting, systems, processes in place and then documenting them is not it's not fun, so it's actually a lot of work. We went through that process recently, several years ago, but we have it's called Wiki. I'm not sure where the Wiki name came from, but in there, our team has access. All our processes are documented. So, um, it's awesome because it's all there, and, I even find myself going in there a lot of times and looking at our processes, before I might ask a question like why we did this or that, because the train's always moving, right? It's fast, but I can go to Wiki, everything's in there, and it's awesome. The team put that together over time. It's been invaluable, but it's hard. It's time consuming.
It
It's not a
is.
lot of fun
It
unless you're,
is.
I guess,
It's
wired
not
that way.
fun. It's not fun, but it's so necessary, and, like, it's always evolving, right? Like,
Yeah.
processes that we created 6 months ago are out of date already, and now they need to go back, so it's not fun, but it's so necessary. Like, sometimes I'll get phone calls and asking questions, and I'm like, "Man, we have an SOP on that," so I won't even respond. I'll just send them a link to the SOP, and eventually they learn. Don't
Yeah.
ask
No,
questions,
yeah.
utilize the resources first, and then come to your superior if you really need help, so
That's why that's kind of made I kinda chuckled there because that's why I go look in the wiki because before I send an email asking why, I'm like, "It's let me go see, oh, that's why we did it that way."
Yeah.
So, even as the owner, I'm like, "Hey, let me go check and actually look at this tool because that my team has done what you've done. They've sent me the link to the process in the wiki. Basically say, "Todd, go look, it's right there." Let's talk a little about marketing, if you don't mind.
Okay.
I love marketing. I mean, we're a digital agency. When we talked initially, I told you I love talking to entrepreneurs. I usually talk about that at the beginning of these podcasts too, but it's one of my favorite things because you're a commercial door, I'm an agency, but we're both owners, so I feel like we have a lot of the common problems. The reason why I love talking marketing because I love hearing what's working, what's not working, with different types of businesses out there in that marketing channel. So I know you mentioned you've got leads coming from contractors. What other lead sources are good for you guys as far as new leads coming in and opportunities to close new business?
Are you talking about from, like, which types of customers or which lead, like
Great question. So let's talk about like digital marketing. Let's just there because I mean there's all different types of channels. I just curious what you guys are doing that is working, and then maybe some things that you've tried that didn't work.
right. So we always have been big on, PPC, paid ads, on Google, which is expensive, right? Like, unfortunately, that's where most of the B2B clients live. So we have always invested a lot there. And then, of course, building our SEO. We've had a lot of luck building out our local SEO. So we have multiple Google business profiles in the areas we want to target. And then put put resources behind building those pages, credit in that area. So that's something we're always kind of actively doing, which works well. And then aside from that, we've, recently started doing in-house meta ads. We have great luck with email and text message marketing. So we're trying to utilizing everything. The goal is to bring down the PPC, how much we pay for that each month by utilizing, other resources. But
Yeah,
that's what we're doing right
no,
now.
that's all interesting. PPC is always a challenge just because Google keeps wanting to charge more per click.
Yeah.
Obviously, so clients Google is great at taking your money and delivering bad traffic. So it's really got to be very diligent in those campaigns to make sure you are getting the traffic that you want, and then also how do you manage that cost per click and try to where it's not a runaway train. You
Mhm.
mentioned meta ads in house. Do you do the other items in house too, as far as PPC or in your
No,
SEO, which I love to? Or
no, we have an agency that does, our website management, SEO, and PPC. We haven't brought that in-house yet.
congrats on the SEO strategy because I think a lot of business owners miss out on that because it does take time. But I've never had a business owner where we've had a really successful SEO campaign and get to the other side. I mean, hey, we're ranking page one, we're building our page one presence, our profiles are ranking, all the metrics are channeling, or I guess genning. It takes time, but once we get over that hump, never had one say they regretted going through that painful process because it would be painful. So if I heard you right and having success there, that's awesome to believe in that channel and actually see the results. Those leads are invaluable, right? That's the power of Google. I've got a
Yeah.
problem and I'm looking for a solution. When it comes to lead generation, what's been the biggest frustration you may have faced?
Uh, I would say just working with agencies, and I hate to say that because
No,
hopefully
go ahead.
the
That's why
one
I
I'm
asked these
working with
questions.
doesn't hear this, but, we've gone through quite a few of them, and I am a high maintenance customer, I'll say that, like, from the beginning because I understand marketing very well, and I think not that you guys do or, whatever, but I think a lot of agencies take advantage of business owners that don't know any better and, like, you just kinda let the ads run themselves, but I understand the marketing side of it, not enough to run it, but to know what's if something's working or not working. So my biggest frustration has been, almost me having to coach my digital agency instead of them coming to me with suggestions and solutions, right? It's always kind of like a reactive strategy I feel like they have, and that's what's always frustrated me the most.
No, I love that you were open and honest about that because we hear I say this all the time in the agency world. There's so many bad agencies and so many business owners have been
Yes.
burned. So they anytime we talk about new clients or bring new clients in, a lot of times they just have that bad taste in their mouth because of things that you just mentioned, right? You should never have to chase your agency. So no, I appreciate the open and honesty. And we hear it all the time because there's just a lot of bad agencies out there that promise the moon. They're great in that sales process, maybe great in that first 30 days, and then they kind of start to disappear or not respond or don't have status calls. So I
Yeah,
hate
the
that you're going, yeah,
communication is so important to us. Like any vendor we have, we don't want to work with them unless they have great communication, and that includes our marketing teams.
100%. Yeah, communication is key. See, that's one of our core values, 100% transparency, because it's all about the data, right? And so just being transparent and that our clients know exactly what is going on. I'm curious, as far as managing flow of leads, is there ever a time when it feels overwhelming or insufficient, or like, hey, you've got too many leads, or
No.
no?
No, we're always ready. We don't say no to good leads, so we figure it out. And we have a great system when it comes to our call center and prioritizing calls that come in. So we have like level one, two, three. So we know if we get an influx of leads, we know which ones we prioritize, which ones we push back a little bit. So we have a system to manage them, I will say, if we do have an influx of leads. But that's not ever a problem. Unfortunately, it sounds like a good problem that I would like to have, though.
Yeah, I say that it's always an interesting question because rarely do you find a business owner that, hey, we've got so many leads we don't know what to do. But we've worked with some big businesses. I'll give you an example, big irrigation company, and there were times in the summer they'd get 2 or 3 weeks booked out. So they would hey, let's just pause the paid ads, let's get caught up. But that's very rare, right? In most
Yeah.
businesses, it's like, hey, we'll take all the leads we can get, right? So I think that's a good problem to have. If you had,
Yeah.
I've got so many leads that I'm overflowed. I'm overloaded here. Um, so as we kind of start to move and wrap up, I'm just kind of curious looking ahead. What are your big goals for ASAP commercial doors over the next 3 to 5 years?
Next 3 to 5 years, I would love to open a couple more locations. So that's the goal. We are working on growing our service division. because we really want to be the service company, the maintenance company for all of our customers, our property managers. So the goal is to continue to open service locations and keep growing our team. I'm really passionate about, bringing youth into the trades, so growing our apprenticeship program and, creating more leaders within the team. I always tell them, I have a big vision, so your growth here is unlimited if you're the right person. So, the right team members will stay with us and maybe one day, be the GM of their own location. So, next
It'd
three
be
years,
awesome.
hopefully, we'll have a couple more.
It's a great strategy. I love that vision. That irrigation company I just mentioned was one of my dear friends that we worked with for years, but he grew his company through employees,
Yeah.
and they would they would take on new locations, and then actually even had give them opportunities to buy into those locations over time. So I love that strategy. Like we said earlier, your people are your best asset, right?
Yeah.
Um, so last question here. If you could give a piece of advice to someone starting a commercial service business today, what would it be?
Oh man.
Run for the hills. Don't do it. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, well, some days I would say that. Um, I would say look for getting into service and maintenance work before taking on big contracts. The working with the GCs and these new construction projects can seem exciting because the revenue is big, but the cash flow is slow. There's a lot of other factors that can really deteriorate a new company. So I would say like if you're going to get into it, like go the service and maintenance route instead of the new install route.
I think that's great, great advice. I love that. Tasha, this has been amazing. I really appreciate you sharing and just being open and honest. If someone would like to learn more about your services or get in touch with you or your company, where can they find you?
So online, asapcommercialdoors.com is our website. You can book service on there. Then we are all over all the socials. We have Fun Social if you want to check it out. Um, our Instagram is ASAP Commercial Door Service, and same with our Facebook. So you can contact me through there.
Awesome. Well, Tasha, again, thank you so much for hopping on. Wish you all the continued success, and it's been great visiting with you. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.